Hey, good morning, church family. Pastor Ross here, and wanted to give a short plug for our Sunday school ministry that is starting back up this Sunday. And our registration is open, and we're going to take online registrations through Saturday. And then we will take any walk-ins, that want to come to class as well. Of course, if you don't sign up online, you're free to come and just walk into the classes. As long as you're really intending to go, is what the encouragement would be there. Wanted just to give a few plugs for why register for Sunday school. And I think there's three reasons I would say, and I would keep this to 5 minutes. Is that first, I've heard this a lot from people in church over a long period of time in my life, that they come to the worship service really to kind of be taught. And a sermon is going to have teaching elements in it. It should. It's going to have some contextual pieces in it. It's going to have some teaching in it, but it's really not meant to be a teaching time, just strictly speaking. It's not meant to be a lecture. It's meant to be a preaching, which is an enlargement of the text. And when we say enlargement, it's meant to set Christ forth, and it's to teach you, yes, but it's also to preach to you. And so it's not going to also just be trying to be novel and create a bunch of new ideas or things like that. It's meant to really uphold the classic faith, the doctrines of the faith, and to set forth the gospel of Jesus Christ in a regular way. It's not really meant strictly for teaching. So why I want to say first, why register for Sunday school is that's what Sunday school for. Okay, that's what Bible studies are for. That's what those men's and women's studies are for. They're for strictly teaching. There's fellowship too there, but it's really for a teaching time. It's not for preaching at you. It's really for the teaching and kind of enlightening and illuminating your mind through the Word of God, of course, the Bible studies, and also through the book studies, and for your kids as well. The second thing, okay, that it's going to really help is it's going to really help, I think, with establishing a good, healthy rhythm of Christian living. Again, been in church for most of my life since I was, a baby, and going on 40 here. And I'll just tell you this: I've seen people only come to Sunday school and go home. I've seen a lot of people only go to worship service and go home. And I've seen people only come to fellowship times and then never come to church. Okay? You could only eat, I guess, potatoes every day if you want. You could only eat, carrots every day if you want. But for a balanced diet, you really need to have each one of those pieces going on in a rhythm. I'm not saying every single Sunday or every single day, but you need to have those pieces in your life to create a well-balanced diet of Christian living. It'll create a better rhythm for you. So let me give you an example. I was talking to some college students earlier last year, and they were saying, we're looking for a church. I said, well, what are you looking for? And they said, we just want a lot of community, a lot of fellowship because we're college kids. And see, here's my thought about that. You should also be looking for doctrine. You should also be looking for teaching. You should also be looking for integrity. You should also be looking for what the worship looks like. You shouldn't just be looking for lots of fellowship. Okay? See, that's what I'm trying to say. We want to make sure that we establish that there's a balanced diet in what we're doing. There's worship, there's education, and there's fellowship. It needs to be really that combination, I think. And again, Sunday school is going to help us. It's okay if you don't go to Sunday school and you go to maybe a study instead. That's fine. You're getting that piece in there. But Sunday school is again the main way the church is trying to approach doing that piece, that teaching piece, that educational piece for you and your family. So I want to encourage that, okay? Because if all you do is come to worship and you never get any of that teaching, you're expecting the worship service to be kind of a teaching lecture time too. Or maybe you're wanting that and it's not going to be that. And so I want to encourage you to think about registering for Sunday school for that reason as well. It creates a more balanced diet of understanding education, worship, and fellowship kind of in a bundle instead of just one piece primarily, okay? And then lastly, it's that fellowship piece that we all want at church, right? The church is a social thing. It's a social organism. It's made up of people. So we should expect social time. We should expect fellowship. However, let me just say this, and maybe not everyone will agree with me, and that's completely fine. But I don't think the worship service is really a time for just chit chat. It's really not a time primarily for socializing and just having lots of fellowship time. I just don't think that's really what it's about. Again, no problem with people getting there early and talking and staying a little after and talking. That's normal. But it's really not meant to be a fellowship time with one another, except for at the Lord's table. It's really meant to be a time of fellowship and communion with God. And so that's why it's worship, not strictly fellowship. And so again, the worship time will have some fellowship, will have some teaching, but it's not really strictly about those things. I think the Sunday school hour will help you have some fellowship, in a consistent class with the same people week in and week out to get to know some of these folks. If you're not in a community group, or maybe you are, but these folks in these other classes will be probably not in your group, and you'll get to know them better too. It'll create some fellowship opportunities for you as well. Again, it's a teaching time, but it's a little bit more casual, isn't it? So it's meant to be for that as well. So again, just want to give a plug for why register for Sunday school. I think one, it'll help augment and supplement the teaching and the educational needs that we all have at church without putting too much stress upon the worship service for it just to be a teaching time, a learning time. Secondly, I think the worship service will help you create a better balanced diet, a better rhythm of Christian living with worship, fellowship, and education instead of just picking one or two of those, but really having them around you consistently. And then lastly, I think it'll help you also establish a little bit more fellowship and getting to know people in the church better when you're in the same class with them on a weekly basis through the semester. It'll help you with that fellowship element that we all want. We all want fellowship. We want to know God, we want to learn the truth, but we also want to stay at churches because we know people. And those places, those classes with Sunday school will help you with that. So a small plug for you all. Really want to encourage you to take advantage of this. Again, I love Sunday school. I have always loved Sunday school, and I've looked forward to having it here. The last two churches I was at did not have it. So I want to tell you that it's a wonderful privilege to have a ministry like this when a lot of churches have gotten away from this and basically just said, we're just going to do community groups and we're not going to do really any teaching ministries or much Christian education ministry. Then I think that's a problem. I think that's not good. I'm really glad here at Providence that we do this ministry because we care about Christian education. We care about discipleship for believers and for their families. So I just want to encourage y'all to take advantage of that if you can this semester. So that the online sign up ends Saturday. And again, if you don't make that cut and you don't get it done in time, that's okay. Just pick your class and come to it if you intend to really come on a regular basis, best you can. And then just make sure that the teacher signs it down so they know to expect you moving forward. So we'll take walk-in registrations as well. But if you do the online, it'll be better just because we can prepare better for you and we know who's really interested in the class. Okay, hope to see you all this Sunday. Sign off.